Action.
La hora del Eskwilax en vivo desde 2015.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Eskwilax Hour, episode 181. The Eskwilax Hour, where we bring you art, paintings, local news, small businesses. I'm Efrain Martinez with you guys on this new episode. Thank you for being here. And today we have Vanessa, aka Softy.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
They're visiting us from Long Beach,
Long Beach, LBC.
the LBC. Thank you for being here with us today. I know you said it was a long drive. Thank
Yeah.
you for. How did you hear about us?
So my friend actually recommended you to me. They previously had an interview here with you. Their name's Jackie. They go by Magical Universe. So yeah, I appreciate her for letting me know about this opportunity, and I wanted to reach out to as like a form of practice because I kind of find it difficult to public speak, so this challenges me to get better at it. Even though
Yeah.
I'm talking to a camera, like it's still scary. Like so.
No, yeah,
I'm-
definitely. That's we're glad that you're here today, and you're saying, your first few times and way more interviews you're gonna have later down in the future.
Yeah.
Hopefully we sit back here 5 years from now and you're like all expert, you're all like, yeah, I got this, nice to see you guys again, because it has happened. Like, we've had artists that because we started in 2015, so we've had artists in that back then that come. I think one of them was Happy Miner. Like, we interviewed Happy Miner back in like 2017, and he was very like sheltered, he was just like more relaxed. And this time he came back and he was like, oh,
Different.
yeah, it was
that's
cool. It's cool to see the two different interviews. But again, yeah, let's start talking a little bit more about, let's say, your background in art. You want to tell me a little bit about your name? How did the
My artist name.
yes, the artist name come about?
So my artist name is Softy, or sometimes Softytuff, and I came up with that name because I was thinking a lot about how there's a lot of strength in being vulnerable, and I like how they contrast. Cause I'm like, I can be a big ass chilona, but like I'm gonna be a chingona. Like I'm gonna be tough and like just conquer anything. But I also think it's really wonderful to like embrace feelings and like your emotions, and sometimes it's hard to do that because especially within like the Latinx culture, like stuff like that isn't really talked about. We're like, oh yeah, I feel sad. They're like, why do you feel sad for? Like, you have so much to be happy about. I'm like, okay, but like that's not like that doesn't help. Like, so it's like kind of like reclaiming that softness, and just like I'm an emotional person, anxious person, so it's like taking that back and bringing power to it. So that's what I try to also like portray in my art.
And so you said Softytuff, right? Sometimes
Yeah.
Softytuff.
Yeah.
And how does that? How do you like? Because I noticed you and they're like in your palette here. You have a lot
Mhm.
of pink, a lot of just like red, and not like dark colors.
Yeah.
No like blue, or is that part of it? The, like you're saying, like,
Yeah, because I think when I think about what I make, like I remember being a kid and I feel like I was more like a tomboy, or I would like say, "Oh, I don't like pink," or like, kind of like not say that. But as I got older, I'm like, dang, I really love pink though. Like, I feel like just it carries like a feminine energy, and I also like having that as well as like masculine. So it's like the balance of both and being very fluid with it. It's like, oh, one day I want to dress super femme, and the next day I want to dress like more masculine. So I think I tried to like do that in my art as well. I know it's very pink and like colorful, but I feel like when people see me, I'm like, I always wear like either all black, and they're like, how do you dress like that and make like super pink work? Like it doesn't like go, but
Yeah, I'm guessing that's where the balance comes in. Where you're
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about,
yeah.
where you're like, yeah, I'm tough, but I like this color, this palette.
Yeah,
This is
but I'm
what
like,
I
this is
wanna
me on
use.
the inside, but on the outside, I'm like a skull or something. Like,
That's good. That's a good good name. And did you have other artist names before that, or this is just the one you picked right now?
yeah, I think before I was just using my name as an art name, but I kind of like how creating this one, it's like a persona or like a character that I can identify as, like, or exist within the art world. Um, and I guess just going back to like schooling, like I did go to school. I went to Cal State Long Beach, but it wasn't for this kind of art. Actually, it was for like making video work and installation.
Okay, okay.
So this kind of work I was doing on the side. Like, this is just like my hobby that I like to draw. And then once I exited school, I focused on this more because it was more accessible. And it just brought me more joy.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And did you go to school out in Long Beach, like high school and?
Yeah, I went to school in Long Beach like my entire life. So I've been there for a minute.
So and you took art classes within the high school, I guess, days, or?
Yeah, thinking about it, I think the art classes were my favorite because I just got to make a bunch of things, and it didn't really stick until like maybe afterwards. Even while like going to college, I was trying to pursue something else just because I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do with my art? Like, is that gonna be a successful career? So I was just thinking of other like outlets as a way to like survive. But then I always came back to this. I'm like, but this one makes me happy. This is what I want to do. Like, I want to keep pursuing it because it's like it's calling me. So I'm like, I need to listen to it and keep doing it.
Did you have that conversation with, like, let's say, your parents or your guardians, where you're like, hey, I want to do art? Because and like you were mentioning, what things that are like kind of taboo in the society, when you tell someone, oh, I want to do art, they start telling you like, oh, like you should do this or you should do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you have that problem some point?
I did, yeah. Like, I love my fam, like mad love for them, but they don't understand it, like what I'm doing. And it's kind of it's tough in that sense. I'm like, oh, I want y'all support. Like, can I get that? But they don't really understand it. But I think now that I'm doing more things, they see it, and how it's like this is what I like to do. I'm like, oh, come to my event if you can, or like I'm having a show, like something like that. So they're getting more like used to it now that I'm just like pursuing it.
If you don't mind me asking, where's like your parents from, or what
Yeah,
background?
my mom's fam, they're, I know, indigenous, and also from like Zacatecas and Jalisco. Okay, so I have family from Mexico.
Okay, yeah. I mean, my family and myself, we're like Mexican descent, indigenous descent, and yeah. Luckily, me, when it came to my situation, they were very supportive.
Mm-hmm.
But I have interviewed artists in the past who also have their families from Mexico, and they're like, oh no, you don't, that's not something you do for a living. And what I was gonna say is, because you're putting in the work, you're putting in like the shows, and you're doing all the exhibits, people see that and they'll be like, okay, so this is something that you can make a living of.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, it's sometimes it's tough, but sometimes if you get in the right shows, get in the right exhibits, you just kind of like blow up, especially now in like the digital age.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, TikTok, putting like work out there really helps spread the one's artwork.
Yeah.
Because that's how I saw a lot of your work. You were like, oh, I'm gonna be in this exhibit and this exhibit. And I'm like, oh dang, like she's out there.
Yeah, like I tried to participate in as many things as possible, but sometimes like I'm like, I need to learn how to say no, because like I feel like there's a point where I'm like, oh, like I don't want to reach burnout.
Yeah, you don't.
And I'm like, I also want to take time to rest and like recharge and like stuff like that. And opportunities will come or like present themselves. And like, if it works out, then I'll do it. That's something that I want to be more mindful, like going into the new year. But for right now, I'm like, yeah, full like hustle mode. Gotta make stuff and like just keep it going.
And as far as your work, you do digital, and then but you also do canvas work, right?
Yeah.
And then when you go to like the events, do you take like the canvas work, or you more like prints or smaller items?
Yeah, so I guess it depends on what the event is. Like if it's an art show, I try to make something that's like canvas or digital. Or if it's like a vending event, I like take my cutouts and like smaller prints. So I think it depends on what it is. But I try to push myself to use different mediums. So like painting it, like I love to do it 'cause it's like you get to feel the pain. There's more like of the hand in it. And then digital work, I like that because it's just like faster to create. But I'm trying to take a break from the screen. So like I want to make more work like this or like larger scale things where I'm like more, just like more of my body goes into it versus just like looking at a screen.
I mean, also I feel the process itself is really like part of making the art. It makes you feels good, you know, starting from a palette, picking the colors, like the different shades, the brushes that you're gonna use, your nice setup.
Yeah.
And it's when once you're done, and I feel even the cleanup is like, it's exciting.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I have this thing where if I have a palette and I let it dry, and after a few months I just peel the paint off, it's satisfying. And you can't do that with a digital.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I like mixing the paint. I mean, my setup is not clean. Like when I paint, like it's pretty messy. But yeah, at the end there's like a pretty result. So
What's the title on this piece?
this one is called.
If it has a title.
Yeah, it does. I'm like, I don't remember. Oh my god. I don't remember it. Oh my god.
It's okay.
I don't remember, but I made it for the show at Espacio, 1839.
Okay, yeah, in Boa Heights.
Yeah, in
Shout
Boa
out to
Heights.
Espacio.
Shout out to Espacio. Yeah, I think it was for every year they have an art show like called Eres Poderosa.
Like,
So
yeah, I think I've
I was
heard of
happy
that.
to be a part of that because there's always wonderful artists participating, and I get really inspired seeing other people's work.
Yeah, that's definitely a way to keep up the spirit going.
Mm-hmm.
Like go to a museum. Well, not a museum, but or like just anywhere where you can get inspired.
Yeah.
It's good. Do the characters, do they have names?
So
Like-
the pink hair one for sure, like that's Softy.
That's Softy.
That's
That's
Softy.
Softy.
The other ones I don't really have names for them, but a lot of them are like inspired by like people that I see or like makeup or something like that. Even like family, like recently I started looking at a lot of old family photos and like drawing like my grandma or like my tia or someone. So I'm trying to look more at referencing like people within my family and making work from that versus like creating like an imaginary character.
Yeah, I mean, always the stuff around one. As an
Mhm.
artist, you can take the inspiration or just pick a narrative from there.
Yeah.
Like in this painting, what are they up to? What are they?
So I think I made this painting like inspired by my mom. I think that comes up a lot too in my work, like unconsciously or like subconsciously. She's just like on my mind, and so I'll draw her. But yeah, this one I made it because I really like drawing nopales because I feel like they carry the like soft and toughness symbolism, and yeah, just like being soft, embracing it, like how the nopales are like very resilient
That's
and
true.
like survive
That's
just
true,
like
yeah.
everything. So that's why I really like using them because like they're tough.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a contrast between you know
Mhm.
something like very tough, very,
Like it's also dangerous if you
Yeah.
touch it. Like
and then you have the character who's just soft, just being one with I guess the desert or nature, and
yeah.
it's the viewer. The viewer will interpret it if it's the desert or the nature. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah, it was also I looked at the themes in your work. You want to tell us a little bit of the themes, how you go about them?
I think, yeah, for themes, this is something that I keep thinking about too, because I think your work is always changing. Um, but something that always pops up, like I always reference like either child memories or like body positivity, self love, like taking care of yourself. And sometimes it would be silly things. Like I remember I drew something, like it was a drawing about how Cheetos, because like I recently got braces and I couldn't eat them, so I was sad. So like I drew, yeah, I drew
Those
a
things are
picture. I was like,
addicting.
damn, well, at least I can draw it. I can't eat it, but just stuff like that. So it's like either daily stuff that I see, or like, yeah, based off a photo, or yeah, I'm like just anything that brings me joy and like really heals the inner child. Like I'm like the color's pink, or like I'm inspired by cartoons. I feel like that's why my characters look this way.
And that's great that you pull from that, because as adults or as people grow, they tend to like that was that was in my childhood. I don't do it anymore.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
forget all of that. Whereas I'm speaking for myself as an artist, we're able to like still imagine.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think there's a quote that I read somewhere was like the artist is the adult that's able to still imagine, this world up here. Whereas other people, they just live what it is and that's it, black and white. That's it.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, even when I'm 80, I'm still gonna be a Sanrio girly and dress like this. Like, I don't care.
And I see everyone in the audience right now. They're all on the same page, and the Sandrios and the plushies.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always it's great to be able to keep imagination going in that way, because not a lot of people could do it.
Yeah. And even I see like with my cousins too, like when I draw with them, I'm like, "Oh, I don't want you to lose that. Like, don't lose like that creative spark, or like like just imagination." I'm like, just keep going, like keep it in, like
Yeah,
till you get old.
the other thing I was gonna say is because you are putting like you're saying body positivity and empowerment and growth. Whenever people do see your art, they're gonna see it in there. They're gonna be able to tell, and
Mhm.
that's good. You put that out in the world, more goodness will come back.
Yeah, I like when people are just like it resonates with them, or they get that message, because I'm like, okay, like they do see it, because sometimes it's just like a reinsurance or like affirmation that like it's like being received how I would want it to
Of
be.
course.
But I'm always open to like interpretation from everyone, because I like hearing what people think when they see my art too.
Well, thank you for sharing that on our first half. We're gonna be back
We'll be back.
in a few minutes. We're gonna get a little stretch in, guys. Thank you guys for keeping tuned today. 181 Softy. We'll be right back, guys. All right, everyone, we're back. Welcome back with Softy. Again, they are here with us today from Long Beach.
Hey, hi. Hello again.
We haven't really talked about Long Beach. Tell me a little bit. What part of Long Beach you live in?
So I'm kind of close to downtown. Like if you're familiar with the metro, it used to be called the Blue Line, by
Oh
the
yeah.
way.
Oh, it's not no longer the Blue Line.
No, it's called the A Line, which I think is whack, but whatever. I'm close to like Willow Station, where I grew up in that area. I feel like part of it, like that particular section kind of reminds me of parts of like LA, just because it's like heavily populated by like Latinx or like POC folks. So that's like the neighborhood that I grew up in. Now, like I was telling them earlier, like I'm seeing the just where I grew up, or like even in downtown Long Beach, like it's being really changed and gentrified, and like places I used to go as a kid aren't there anymore. So I'm like, oh, like we lost the whole building. Like so many memories were within that space, and like it's really like heartbreaking that certain businesses aren't there anymore that I used to go with like my mom or like with my grandma, like getting like pan at the corner like liquor store, and like it's not there anymore. So
That's sad when it happens to the sections of the city, because I used to have a shop in Boyle Heights, and back when I was there, getting very like gentrified, and I know the feeling, because down the street they actually had this taco place that everyone loved, you know. And I tried a couple times, but definitely once they took it out, a lot of like people were just pretty sad about it.
Yeah.
And yeah, so seeing a neighborhood go through that is it is heartbreaking. It is.
Like I love my city. Like, yeah, I'm like even though if I moved away and lived in LA for a little bit, but I came back, and I'm like, and I think I'll probably stay until whenever. But I know there's folks trying to like keep the community alive, and that's always helpful, because when there's numbers of people like working together, like it saves or preserve it.
Yeah.
But you're battling against like huge corporations and like industries, so that's kind of like tough to navigate through.
But I mean, everyone counts. Like every little like protest or like activism does count, even if people don't think it does. Because I've seen it in like Boyle Heights. Like I remember there was like this building that was trying to kick out a whole family. The lady like just got everyone in the community. She stated her case, how she's been living there for like years, and then this man, he shows up. He's like, I bought the building, get out. And then she's like, wait, like I have rights, regardless if I have papers or not, like I have rights, like I have. And she did her research to where, they couldn't kick her out for like the next 5 years. So I gave her enough time, like to like get things together, and like if she was gonna move, go somewhere where it was like not rushed, where you're like, hey, like here's your notice, get out. And that's what they were trying to do in that building. They were trying to do that to like people of color. They were like, hey, here you go.
Because they think that they don't know things, or like that they're not educated. It's like no, like here are the receipts, like here's all the research, like bye. Like
it's good to like have people that also are in that field. Like out here in LA, there's like organizations that do like that type of work, where like if because I've been through that. I ran, so like a few years ago I was like, they didn't want to fix something in my kitchen, and I was like, hey, like you guys need to fix this because it's not livable. And they're like, nah. So I hit up one of the organizations. They're like, oh yeah, just send them this letter, call this number. And then I did that. Like, they fixed it. They even built me a whole kitchen.
Right quick, huh?
Yeah, they built a whole kitchen because they're just preying on people. So it's important what, like you're saying, if there's a community out there, if you're part of the community that's, like, battling that, don't stop. You guys got to keep going.
You have to fight back.
Yeah.
Like, it's important.
Yeah, because once they see people do, they're like, we're just going to take all the buildings. But it's good that you're doing that, and that everyone there is kind of on the same page, especially if they grew up out there.
Yeah, I'm like, we trying.
Yeah. What about like art wise? How's the art out there in Long Beach?
I think it's like becoming more of like an artist hub to be a little bit. It's still kind of like, I feel like the art within Long Beach, and I see that kind of in LA, it's like very spread out. Like everyone's like, oh, there's this section of artists, or like this, like it's very like spread out. But there's a few galleries there that are like having shows for people and like up and coming, so that's nice to see that happening within the community. But I know it can like become bigger, or just like incorporate more of like a rotation of artists. That I think that's why I organize art shows and curate shows, because there's like a really like large population of artists who are underrepresented, so I like to provide a space for them, like, hey, like, you never showed your artwork before, like, be in the show, like, and it gives them practice and also just like a forum to like network and showcase their art, because I know how important that is and sometimes hard to get opportunities, so I like to create them for other artists too.
And do you do it on like as an individual, or do you have like what do you call it, like a collective that?
Yeah, so right now I'm just doing them by myself. I have one, like a spot that I do it. It's a bar in Long Beach, but like I have the opportunity to show people's work there. Um, and then I'm kind of in the process of creating a collective, but this is like a side thing. It's gonna be called Cuídate Mucho Collective, so like Take Care Collective, and hopefully that will like bring more art opportunities for people. It's still in the works, so like I don't really have a lot to say about it right now, but just currently I'm just organizing stuff myself, like solo.
That's good. Yeah, because I used to hang out there a lot. Like
Mhm.
not recently, but like a few years back, there was this thing called the Funk Fest. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Oh yeah, I don't know if we had that.
It
Yeah.
started back in like 2000. What was it 9 when it was
Uh.
free? But then
Okay.
like they started charging, and that's kind of what turned off a lot of the locals. Cause
Yeah.
it started off as a like open air art music event
Yeah.
where a lot of local artists would go and live paint. You bring your like canvas, your paints, and you're just there,
Yeah.
and there's
Yeah.
just thousands of people just talking to you, and it was a good opportunity they had out there. That's how I started to go out
Mm.
there a lot, because they
Mhm.
did it like every summer, I believe. And it was right there. There's Pine, and then there's the next street over. I don't know what's it called, but it was right next to there. And then they would do it in an open parking lot, so they would have like food trucks, music. But then
Yeah.
every year it kept getting more and more. I don't know, want to call it like more corporate,
Yeah.
to the end where they moved it to by the Queen Mary, and then they were like, oh, it's like this
Charging
much,
now.
yeah, this much
Yeah.
for ticket, and then that's when people kind of like,
Like we're like thrown off. I mean that happened this year too, cause last year Long Beach had like a Dia de los Muertos festival,
oh,
and it
okay,
was free. They had like La Sonora Dinamita play, and it was a free
oh, that's
event.
sick,
And then this year, like they started charging. I'm like,
yeah,
y'all, what? Like, how can you start? I don't know. I'm like, y'all make enough money already. Like,
yeah.
we can have free things for the community. Like, I know you guys have money.
That's crazy, because I didn't know that. Yeah, because back then it was a funk fest. Because yeah, they would invite us, and we were just artists that wanted, get our names out there. So we were like, okay, we're
Yeah.
gonna go. We paint. There was no actual like monetary compensation, because we knew
Mhm.
they weren't charging either.
Yeah, yeah.
So when, in my opinion, this is just my opinion. When they were doing the paid event, we weren't getting paid, so it didn't make
Mm.
sense, that to charge people when we weren't like
Getting
charging
paid yourself.
people.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
would have to bring your own stuff and
they
everything.
told us, oh, like, you can sell your paintings, but
Mm.
a lot of the artists, they're there just more like to share their painting process, not really like, oh yeah, here's, at least in my opinion,
Mm.
I didn't, many of the artists that were there with me, they weren't there really to like, yeah, I'm gonna make like $1,000, $2,000 off this. It was more like it was their hometown, and they wanted to
Yeah.
show their
They just want
community.
to paint like vibes,
Yeah,
like.
yeah. I met a lot of great artists out there. A couple of them were Efrain Luna, uh, this other dude named Chatismo, um, and Rick Rodriguez. May he rest in peace. He was great artist out there. But yeah,
Mhm.
that was back then when Long Beach had the Funk Fest. Like I was mentioning it because I don't know if they still do it. So.
I'm like, I know it sounds familiar. I think they might have had it, but it's not how you're describing it though. Not
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's all corporate now, maybe.
Yeah. I wish we had that. That would be super cool to have opportunities like that for artists to just post up and paint.
Hey, there's always that opportunity that
Yeah.
someone can start it,
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, someone can just, because I'm pretty sure it's just some like temporary permits that you can get with the city, and then they'll
Mhm.
approve it. You're like, I need this space, I need 50 artists, and we're just gonna paint and put some
Yeah.
music on.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Taking notes.
speaking of painting, I was gonna ask you about your creative process. Can you
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about that?
So creative process. I think a lot of the times where I'm making something, like I'm not in the like I don't feel good like mentally, and I'm like, dang, I'm making work when I'm sad. I but when I post that or like yeah showed that artwork, like a lot of people react to that, and I'm like, dang, I was making this when I didn't feel like in the best state of mind, and like maybe people can feel that or sense that. So I'm like, I think I tend to make more work when I'm like kind of going through things, because it forces me to like release an emotion or just want to make something. And then when I'm feeling good, like I think I'm just like more present in the moment, not really like drawing or like working on like my craft. And then when it starts to be enough time, like, oh, I have to draw something again. Like I get like just like a creative itch, or I go out and see a show or like attend other artists shows and I get inspired again. So I think that's my creative process, just like or there when there's like a deadline, I'm like, okay, I really have to make something. Yeah. But like most of the time I'm like, oh, if I feel a certain type of way, that's what like makes me go straight to like go paint or draw, or even just a sketch. Like randomly I'll have like, oh, this will be a good idea, and I'll like write it down on a post-it note, lose it, and find it like 2 weeks later. Like, but
What about as far as music? Do you put music while you're creating?
Yeah. I listen to music when I'm making work, and I think that kind of inspires what comes out too. So I'm listening to like a sad song, like I'm gonna make like something sad, or like punk or jazz. It's like more like either like
jazz is dope.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll just put it on the background and then I'm just like chilling, like having a good time.
Do you have any recommendations for people? What kind of music?
Music-wise?
Yeah, music wise, what they listen
Dang,
to
I'm like, what
create.
you want to? I'm like, what kind of recs you looking for?
Top 5.
Dang, top 5. Okay. So I'm just gonna listen. I mean, I'm just gonna say like what I've been listening to right now. So I've been listening to a lot of Bjork, MF Doom. There's a band, I don't know if you heard, but Son Ropepera is like on the
My girlfriend loves that.
yeah, like them. Who else? Oh, Miles Davis be hitting like all the chords inside. Number 5. Number 5. Okay, I've been listening to SZA a lot too.
The audience like cheering out there.
So yeah, that's on my that's probably gonna be on my Spotify recap or something.
Yeah, we should have that where we're like top 5 artists, music while they create. Yeah, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
I appreciate
I might check them out if you haven't. They're good if you're into them. Like, I recommend giving them a listen.
Oh yeah. And going back to your art, I was gonna ask you, do you have any like exhibits coming up or?
I'm gonna be participating in I don't know if you heard of the event called Club Nocturno. It's like in a dancing music event. They focus on like reggaeton or like rock en español. Like it's gonna have a different like.
Is this in Long Beach or?
It's gonna be in LA. The place is Catch One. I don't think I've ever been there before. But
yeah, Catch One, yeah.
Yeah, me and my friend are gonna be live painting and vending. And then I have an art show that I'm organizing that's gonna be next month in December, and then I'm taking a break because I'm like I need to chill.
Start the new year fresh.
The Tamale Festival too in Long Beach, which is like
what is that?
It's I don't even know, but it's like a.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's I think it's gonna be happening in downtown, but they're gonna have a bunch of like tamale vendors and like other artists participating, so it should be cool. I'm gonna be painting there too and like vending, so
that's dope. Yeah, you got a lot going on the next few weeks.
I'm like I try to stay busy like cause then I feel like I'm not busy, like I'm like what am I doing with my life, and then I have like so many things coming up. Like it's hard to like I think you have to kind of like sit back and see what you've done, because when you're in it doesn't feel like you're doing enough. I don't know if you ever felt like that before, but
oh yeah, exactly what you're talking about. Well, yeah, that's great. I mean, you said the exhibits, you got the tamale festival. And then what about next year? Any plans for like the future?
next year, I'm like, I haven't made my vision board yet. But there'll be stuff coming. I'm like, there's always stuff to come up, and I know I'm gonna have like events to come. So stay tuned. Follow me on IG. That's where I
What's your
post
IG so they
everything.
know?
It's Softytuff, so Softytuff.
We're gonna add it there later on the edits, guys. What about as far as larger scale work? Have you done any of that, or are you planning to do any of that?
I like to go out and paint. I'm trying to get better at using spray paint. That's like one thing I'm like trying to practice to do. I did get an opportunity to paint a mural like within a coffee shop, which forced me to like create large scale because I'm always looking at like a tiny screen or like a small canvas. So like getting what do you call that? Like
Yeah.
you know what I
Scaling
mean?
it from small. Yeah.
Scaling
Do
it. So
you
like
do you do the like we do the scribbles, and then you
yeah.
project it on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to
So
do it.
so that like challenged me too, but I want to continue doing like larger work, like bigger things.
So you're like pretty new to like aerosol and spray paint and all that.
Like I've always liked it, but I just never like devoted a lot of time to it. But now I'm picking it back up, and it just feels nice like to use the cans.
Yeah, I mean, I actually started like that. I used to
Okay.
be a graffiti writer way back in the days,
Yeah.
and then
Like
I
what
went
you
to
write? What you write? No, I'm just kidding.
can't tell you, can't tell you, catch like 20 cases. But yeah, and then I also wanted to ask you before like the interview is over, your video work. Can you tell us a little about that? Because I saw that you said that that's also something you do.
Yeah, I think I kind of want to return to that. But it was mostly like I used a lot of like audio I would record like with places like nature sounds, or just like sometimes I would record my fam talking, and then either I use found footage or like just stuff I recorded while like being somewhere randomly. I'm like, oh, this looks cool, and editing that. It would have a lot of layers. I wish I had something to show you right now, but just like a lot of layers, kind of distortion, messing with like different colors and like green screen. So it was fun. It was like a whole production, but I
Yeah.
would do it by myself. Like
Oh, no worries. That's how we started. Like we used to create different like random videos of like, I would make videos for my friends for their music videos or just.
yeah.
I remember I did one where I was just eating an apple, so I can like I was like a DIY green screen. I bought some like poster board from like
Yeah.
the 99 cent. It was green, and I like videotape myself. So I get what you're talking about. Like it's great to just. Yeah, this is one way to release creativity, but it's also like video work.
Yeah.
It's also really dope.
Some-
And like, do they usually last like a few minutes or like?
no, they're always short, like a minute. They're like like a punk song. Like it's short. Like it's just like condensed into something small. I did have an art show where I like combined both of them.
I think I was gonna ask you that if you ever
Yeah.
combine them.
But that was like when I first started to mesh them together. I haven't returned to that, so that would probably be something interesting to look back into, to explore again.
What about a clip where Softy's like a person and then interacting in the real world?
I'm like, it's me. I'm gonna come out with a pink wig and a clown
Exactly.
nose.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, the
Coming
red
soon.
nose. Yeah, and then just interacting with 2020 something.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now this is what you're focusing on, right?
Mm-hmm.
The visual, like the painting, the digital, and I also saw that you have like other hobbies. Do you want to share a couple of those?
Yeah. I'm like, what do I like to do right now?
Is it thrifting?
Oh yeah,
Thrifting?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have too many clothes, y'all. Like, I have the thrift store in my room. Like, so I like doing that. I like cafecito.
What's your favorite coffee?
My favorite coffee, I just like black coffee with canela. Like, that's how I know a place is good if like their drip is good.
That's what I'm saying. I tell everyone that if you can taste the black coffee and be able to, this is good. That's how you know they have a good.
Yeah, so that's something that I like to do. I also like karaoke. I'm not good at it, but I can get down.
Do you know any places out there that do it?
Yeah, so there's a spot that I like to go to, but not so much anymore. Just 'cause like the day happens, I have to work early. But Alex's Bar, I don't know if you've ever been there, but they have a stage. I like it 'cause they have a
This is
stage.
Long Beach, you said?
Yeah, it's
I'm
in
gonna
Long
make
Beach.
notes. I'm gonna make notes.
Yeah, if you can check it out, it might be cool.
And then they'll be far enough where like I'll embarrass myself and then come back. And, like, nobody knows me. You know, I don't know. I'll be like, sing my ass off and then.
Just sign up with a fake name. Like,
Exactly. I'm gonna put like Henry or something. But yeah. I mean, did you want to add anything on that I haven't mentioned today? Any shout outs? Any people you wanna?
I'm like, I guess shout out to everyone like during this like difficult time, especially like with everything that's going on like in Palestine. I feel like as an artist, like we have a voice to like aid that or like bring awareness to. So that's something that I'm like trying to create. I'm actually working on a drawing for that, but I'm just like, it's not ready. It's not ready. Yeah, so that, and then yeah, it's a tough time. I think since COVID, like everyone's kind of just been going through it, and then now it's like the end of the year, or, like December, so it's like winter blues. So I just want to say like keep taking care of yourself, like get rest, check in on your friends, give your fam and like friends like a ring, tell them that you love them, like just stuff like that. Just being more in tune with like the world and like yourself, and just keep spreading love like wherever you go, because you never know what someone's going through, and it's good to be mindful about that.
Thank you for those words.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for visiting us. It was an honor to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
And again, like I mentioned in the beginning, maybe 5-10 years from now we'll see you again, or maybe like 2 years. But I'm not pushing you. Like I don't want to see you in 5 years.
You're like, no, you better come back.
Yeah, but yeah. Thank you guys for tuning in today with myself, Henry, co-producer and cameras,
behind the scenes,
my lady Jackie,
hey.
my homie Cruz.
Hey.
And everyone out there, you guys stay safe. Like she was saying, everyone's going through a lot. And check in with your friends. Mm-hmm. And we'll see you guys next time. Episode 182 next week. Well, maybe next year. You don't know that. I'm always trying to get you guys. This has been the Eskwilax Hour 181. Softy.
Bye. Thanks for